radiating this love out to you from 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky. You got that guy. Grandpa Coyote knows how to fly, how to get you to spread them wings. Ooh, let out that last little sigh and take off and fly. You betcha, 'cause that's what we're here for. Lighten up, babies, get it on. In that Everclear way here on the Hazy Radio Network, darlings. Grandpa Coyote and a whole raft of friends helping you get it on once again on this thrilling Thursday, man. The day before Free Day Friday, man, but we're free anytime we want to be. We don't have to wait for Friday or Monday or Wednesday or any other day. We just be where we are right now and let it take us there, 'cause that's where we are already, babies. We're free. Free as can be. Free to live in the full presence of our love any time we choose. Now, life seems to be filled with challenges and problems and issues, and wow, where's the love when you need it now, man? But it's always there, babies, always. And it always will be right there inside of you. Every solution you've ever sought is there on the inside, waiting to be revealed on the outside. Because that's what happens when you go to the inside, you start to change the outside too. Because the inner and the outer are basically reflective of one another. So what you've got on the inside is the world you live in on the outside. And some people say that's your thoughts, your thinking that's creating all this that you're living in. And in a less indirect way, that's sort of true. But the reality is it all comes from your heart, man. The place where you're consciously present in everything and everyone and all moments that ever were, ever will be. You see, we're home in that heart always. And this here we've been living in, this 3D, has been a bit of an illusion, man. You know, a trial to say the least. A trial for the heart of love to see how much it could take, how far it could go, how far it could stretch itself and still recover. Recovery being the primary word right now, because that's what we're doing. We're recovering all that we left behind when we began this human experience. We're going right back to the beginning of time and picking up all the pieces we left behind, baby. And coming back to a state can only be called divine, where we actually do experience the full presence of creation passing through us. I mean the full presence of creation passing through us. As each one of us is the very center of our own universal heart, which is the very center then of the universal energy that surrounds us, called life. And the moments that we're living in that life. You see, isn't it amazing how this works? It's so simple to be free. And so easy to be whipped up and wrapped up and tied up in the complications that are created here by those that would keep us less than ourselves, not more. But it's only because they don't understand just yet, and they're getting it. Everybody is. As you catch on, darlings, everybody else in this world catching on right along with you. Because we're one big old giant collective heart, man, and one big old giant collective consciousness to go with it. Each expressed in a personal life here in this human reality. This is a very unique combination, man. First time it's ever been tried in this here universe, and maybe even a few of the universes beyond it, who knows. But here we are doing it, youngsters that we are, rolling our sleeves up and say, let's get to it. Because we're ready. We're rockers, man, and rollers. We know what the hell to do, and if we don't, we'll figure it out real quick, because our heart is there, and it knows. In that innocent place, it knows. And it doesn't need any help from anyone else, yet it's got the help of everyone else. Because, babies, collectively, we're in this together. Personally, we're in this together as the collective, given in a personal sort of way. I know it's tricky, you know, and it seems like you're separated from life when you're personal, but it ain't that personal. It ain't individuated. It's just a personal experience in the greater flow. The same way a little wave in the river is part of its personal experience. You see, that little wave gets to experience its own little drift. But at the same time, the whole river's experiencing that little drift of a wave with it. You see, that's how it works here, man. We're one big mighty river. That's the whole life we're living, all the human beings and everything else. But we each have our little personal way of going through the stream of life. Waving in and out of it however we will. Going through whatever challenges we choose to have for ourselves. And coming out of it on top of things no matter what happens. Because we always are on top of it. We're the creators of this dream that we live in, you see. And we're starting to wake up to that simple little fact. And when we do wake up to that, well, creation comes through us a little more delightfully. So, wouldn't you say? Yeah, you see, because then the little baby comes out to play, the innocent one that knows everything. Everything that's ever been, everything that's ever done, everything that's going to be, because that's a lot of fun. We have it all right there in our heart, man, all of it. When you finally let your mind relax, give yourself some time today to do that. Just relax the old mind, let the heart come out to play. If you don't know what I'm talking about, give yourself some time today, you'll find out. Because the heart rules here. It is the very center of creation. When I'm talking about the heart, I'm talking about our conscious presence, man. The one that's totally in us and totally honest and totally working through us all the time. The one that we've sought to run away from for so long, been afraid of this eternal truth, that we're the center of creation. Had to build it up in some egoic way that was based on an empty feeling, not a full one. Doesn't work too well that way, does it? But that's the trial of the heart. That's the test. I think we passed it with flying colors, babies. Now we get to get on with the rest. And that's what a Thrilling Thursday is all about. Building yourself up and being ready for what Free Day Friday has in store. Because after that is, Party Day Saturday and Party Day Sunday. And oh my God, how come we have to have a Monday? Hey, the week begins just the same way it ends. If you're happy now, you're going to be happy then. If you're not happy, well, babies, you're just going to get worse, not better, till you finally get tired of that shit. You see, you can sit around and bitch and moan about your life and complain about everything that's gone wrong in it. Or you can sit back, take another look at it and say, God, it ain't been half bad. Even when I was down, I was up. Even when I was lost, I was found. I've always been around. My heart's always been alive, awake and steady in my chest. Steady in my conscious presence. Steady in the little baby-like attitude that I hold all the time. That keeps us innocent and keeps us divine. That's how it works here, babies. You see, the more you see of your heart, the less you see of conflict in this reality. The more you live in that heart, the smoother it goes, and the better it will be for everyone. Not just you, but you start with that one first, because that's what counts. You're no good to no one if you're not helping yourself first and foremost. Taking care of yourself, making sure that all of your needs are satisfied, and finding out in the process you never had any needs. That was the illusion. You see, you're not an empty, hungry thing. You're a full vessel of love, effusing itself effervescently into creation because it's so dang happy about it to be this creation. And to live it the way we love it to be, and to love it into being the way we want it to be from our heart. How much better can it be? Well, just let your heart show you, man. Get that old mind of yours, give it a rest, man. Get it out of the way. Let it listen to the heart's flow today, and you'll understand the way. There's always a little coyote medicine in it. It's always really tricky, but it's also really smooth when you realize the simplicity in it. then you'll have the same happy grin the coyote does. And you'll be singing that happy song early in the day the same way the coyote does. Because you'll finally have caught on. Isn't that beautiful, babies? I tell you, it gets better day after day here on this Coyote Medicine Show on the Hazy Radio Network, don't it? Especially on a thrilling Thursday when, well, we really let the heart out to play, don't we? Who betcha? Got something to celebrate today? I think you do, babies. Get with the program now, will you? And let's be happy. Little heart coming to the surface and being the surface that we live in, and no longer being some kind of abject little dream hidden away there in the corners of our heart, tucked away in the darkest of places, man. That's where we kept our good dreams, eh? Well, thank goodness we did, because they're all coming out today, all those good dreams that we've held at play down deep inside of our heart where we didn't even know they were there anymore. We were so damn dumb to it, yet some of us knew. See, I was like that, man. I was born with this dream in my tiny little heart, and I could never let it go. I looked at this world around me, and I said, shit, what a crock, man. And I looked at this dream in my heart, and I said, yeah, this is the way it ought to be. How come it ain't? You know, in all of my life, I've lived with that contrast between what I see in my heart, what can be real, where everybody loves everybody and everybody takes care of one another. Nobody has to be hurt about anything, and it's all just a divine blessing in everything. As compared to this reality, which is kind of the upside down opposite of that, you know, where they'll take it away from you as quick as they can if you got anything. And if you get anything, watch out, world, because here you come, and they're going to take that too. You win the lottery, and there's the gangster boys hanging out in the background saying, nah, you didn't win no lottery. What makes you think you won some lottery, man? You know, now you give all that money to us, we'll give a little bit back to you and get out of our way. See, that's what happens, you know, day to day here in this reality. Stuff like that going on all the time. Like there is no love, like there is no life, like everybody just hates everybody and wants to steal from one another in the richest way possible. Well, goodness golly, if that ain't the exact opposite of what a human being really is, I don't know how else we could portray it. Because that is as far from a human heart as you can get. When you got to take from another, or take their life because they're in the way, or whatever, however your perception plays it, that's one of the saddest, most absent places there could ever be. Yet in that absence, in that sadness, you start to seek something different. You start to knock on old heaven's door. You start to look where you ain't never been before, you see. It's the sign of the times. It's the season, too, where all of us get together in a collective way and start this awakening process. Yeah, right now, right here in this moment of today. See, we don't have to screw around and wait for this and wait for that, and oh, it's going to be another 500 years before this planetary reality gets its shit together. Well, good God, the way we're going, it ain't never going to happen, you know. But yet, there's enough sincere hearts here opening up to change the play for everyone. And that's exactly what is going on now. You see, we waited around in the background, the true rulers of the earth, forever and ever. And when I say that, I'm not being arrogant or making myself king or anything, or Jesus or anything like that. Maybe a tiny bit of Buddha in my toenail there. But what I'm saying is, there are those in this reality that know the flow of creation goes through them. Those that, like me, that have had this dream forever in their heart, and know it's not a dream. Know that's the reality, that people really do care about one another. That this world we live in is the illusion, that the dream we hold in our heart is the reality. Because we've seen enough of it poking through into this one to make a difference, and therefore we know the miraculous nature of life and how quickly and rapidly it can be changed. And therefore we see a time coming, which is right now, where everyone is no longer estranged from one another, but is instead gathered together. And that sweet, simple, pure love of a shining golden heart, the one that unites everyone, the one that's in the Mother Earth, the one that we tap into through our roots, right down into her heart, right up into the blossoms of creation that we are. You see, that is the human form and function, to be creation, to live actively in that creation and be creating in that creation. That is humanity's lot. But we've been, living in an upside-down world that says, you're not creative unless you're an artist, and then you got to starve until you're dead, and then we, lay it on you after that, etc. You know what I mean? There's always some backwards recipe here that says, you don't get it yet, you sorry sacker, you know what, and so on and so forth, man. I mean, there's this sardonic attitude here. It's very highly ironic in its own way. Because the more they take, the more you're willing to give. You ever notice that about yourself? You ever hit rock bottom and know that you've got everything you ever wanted right here inside of yourself? And that you've got a lot more to give and you're going to keep going on no matter what? And when they take it all away from you, then you realize how valueless that crap is. And how valuable it is to be alive and living in love. And feeling the power of it flowing through you into creation. Baby, you don't need a bank account to prove that that's rich. That's as rich as it gets. That's feeling full presence in life. That's being in love with the life that you're living. And I'm telling you, when you're living it that way, nothing can go wrong, no matter how much, quote, quote, they have taken from you. Because you got so much more to give. You are a fountain of life. Of the great love in life, man, of the creative love, and you cannot be stopped or restricted or curtailed or dammed up in any way. They just got to get out of the way because the flow of love comes through you so strongly on this thrilling Thursday here on this Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network, that you can't stop, and you wouldn't if you could, you see. You want to be that person that you are, that full presence of love, that dreaming child inside that knows a life that's wild, wildly loving, wildly syncopatic with itself all the way around, synchronistic and then some, wildly alive and happy because of it, only in the way that a child's heart could enjoy it, in simplicity and innocence, in the pure essence of love that a child has, and that we never let go of. That becomes the dream trapped away in our heart. Not so trapped today now, is it, see? We're coming out to play. We're finding the richer side of life in this day, in this moment. We're starting to appreciate what we have, and we're going from there in the strongest sort of way. Because we know the gateways to paradise wide open to us, man, and all we got to do is let ourselves be that. Right here in this right now of 3D. Root ourselves down in the happy love of the mother heart and feel it flowing through us as the sun enlivens it and brings it into creation around us. You see how that works, babies? We are the very juncture of the heart. The very aspect by which creation expresses and experiences itself. And if we ain't there, then there ain't no experience. Just like, the old question, if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it when nobody's there to see it or witness it? Well, you figure it out. It's your creation. It's your perspective that creates what we live in. So, darlings, if you can just learn to go with this flow, as we call it, the golden glow of life flowing through you. And the only way to do this is to be rooted down in this Mother Earth. That's what this 3D experience is all about. Getting it rooted down in a fleshly reality that got a little substance and form, a little bit of density to it, a little darkness to it, where the seeds could sprout comfortably, etc. It's a seed bed here in this good old earthly environment we call 3D. And this is where the seeds sprout, and we've already sprouted, or many are sprouting now. It's a process. It starts with 1, 2, 3, and then it goes on from there, you see. So, 1 or 2 sprout, the whole dang tribe gets it after that. It don't take no 100 monkeys. It only takes one. One standing on the street corner grinning at you, holding up a sign saying, "We'll work for food, baby." And share the wealth of my heart while I'm at it. You see, we're angels, baby. And whether we're standing there on the street corner flying a sign, or we're living up there in the areas that are prime and we got the penthouse of everything, it doesn't matter. We're still the same person, and each just trapped in our own little experience until we finally learn to appreciate that personal aspect and start moving more in the collective way. You see, when you really appreciate your person and your personal experience here, when you really begin to understand that from the heart level, then you see that the dream that you've held always has been fulfilled. And was all along, even though you couldn't quite perceive it that way because the torture was so great. The innocent are always tortured here. And why? Well, so they'll remain innocent. It's a validation. It's like encouragement. Even when the bullies are picking on you, you innocent little shit, they're telling you, don't you ever lose that. You got something valuable there that we don't see ourselves as having just yet. See, and there's your dream inside. Even as the bully's slugging you in the head and you're going down yet again, you still got it. You're still coming around, and you're loving that person that just smacked you. You understand beyond their capability to understand. Yet because you can, that begins the understanding side in them, and bully there'll be no more. When we start to feel the love, the true life that we're living, and how greatly in service we are to one another, that's the beginning of true respect for one another. And all this bullying bullshit that's been going on here forever and a day, up to and including murder, is out the window. We just won't see it that way anymore, And in fact, all those that we've murdered in the past, now I'm not talking about myself, I'm not a murderer, but there are those here who are. And it can sneak up on just about anybody. It's an abject reality. It's got its sardonic edges. But those who have are still occupied with the spirits that they thought they sent away. This is their means of bringing great change to themselves. So, those that have lived in the political realm and that have murdered their enemies, there is no enemy. They're your friends, and they're on your side, and that they're pushing for you even more strongly now from that so-called other side, which is the heart side of life, which is uniting with this side of life, which will no longer be an invisible realm then. And even the aspect of death passes away, along with the birth that brought it into being in the first place. And we live a constant, steady life with all those who surround us, whether they be living or dead. See, so you can imagine what those folks are going through that have been these murderous fools that haven't thought twice about taking a life that seemed to be in the way. What they're living with right now is not very easy. And there's no way to shut it off or turn it off. All the rituals on earth, all the dark practices you want to employ will not turn it off. It just gets stronger. It's like the song of an angel. It starts out as a quiet little thing in the background, and it just gets stronger and stronger. And pretty soon you're living in that song and singing it too. See, so all those you've taken away from this life are there with you right now to help you come back to life. Because they don't hold it against you. No one ever does, really. Seems that way, but no one ever does. We live in an even, equitous flow always, despite the roles we've portrayed here that are the complete opposite of that. And this is the world we're beginning to wake up to here on a Thrilling Thursday in a rock and roll sort of way. Notice the arrangement of the live and spontaneous tunage here. And notice how it does indeed affect your heart and make it a little bit more large, dear. Larger and larger, Raja. This is the evidence of the true dynamic of the life we're living, given musically. And then you get a few enlightened little words jokingly passing through this old grandpa to help augment the vision, the dream that we're bringing forward from inside of our heart, which is our truth. And this is the age of truth, the age of the blue star, the arrival of the Mother Earth at the center birth of the universe, and of all of her children rising up to be those centering little rulers of this universe that they are, meaning that through whom the perspective of creation is given, and therefore the appreciative beings arising in their creation, feeling that creation, being that creation, loving that creation into being and loving the being of it. That's what it means to be human, a being that's being in everything. And everyone too, babies, you know, those old unsatisfied hungers, those lusts for life, those lusts for one another, die away as you come into your full presence and come out to play. More to go on this Coyote Medicine Show. We've only just begun on this thrilling Thursday. You want to keep your dial set here at hazyradio.com, because we got it on. Grandpa Coyote, Okiwan Kenobi, and a whole raft of angelic presences here hanging out, including yourself. Spaceship Love here, 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky, radiating that love. Yeah, so you wake up too, baby. How about that? Going on down to Green River now? You catching on? I thought so.